The Chicano Movement, also known as the Chicano Civil Rights Movement or Movimiento, was a Mexican-American civil rights movement of the 1960s. Although the Chicano movement had other aspects, the two that intrigued me the most were the rights for farm workers and educational rights. The term Chicano is a term used to identify people of Mexican descent born in the United States. The name became popularly used by Mexican Americans as a symbol of pride during the Chicano movement of the 1960s. For years and years, the Latino farm workers were being paid unlivable wages, living and working in bad conditions, and some often even went hungry. Cesar Chavez was an American labor leader and Latino American civil rights activist. In 1962, Cesar founded the National Farm Workers Association, which later became the United Farm Workers. He dedicated his life's work to improving conditions for many farm workers across America. His methods were nonviolent, employing strikes, boycotts, marches, and fasts. One of the most known boycotts was the national boycott of grapes that began in 1965. Throughout the nation, grape pickers went on strike and demanded to get better pay for the hard labor they did on the daily. Even when facing threats and actual violence from other unions and the police, Cesar never backed down. Cesar's and the United Farm Workers' work succeeded. It improved pay and working conditions for farm laborers in the 1960s and 1970s. Another important factor of the Chicano movement was the fight for educational rights. Latino students in 1968 had no textbooks that related to their history or culture. The teachers and leaders didn't look like them either. They were even prohibited from speaking Spanish. If the students were caught speaking Spanish, they would receive a punishment. The classrooms were also overcrowded, and the students had no pathway to college or the chance to take all the classes they needed to reach their goals. In that time, 60% of Chicano/Mexican American students dropped out of high school. Teachers and administrators had low expectations for Latino students.
The administrators are saying that we're disrupting the educational process. That's not so. The educational process of Mexican Americans for over 20 years in East Los Angeles and throughout the Southwest has been disrupted by its failure to communicate with the Mexican American. That is the disruption. When 57% of the students at Garfield drop out year after year, there has to be a problem. We're not operating in a vacuum. There's social injustice.
On March 1st, 1968, the nation's first major protest against racism by Mexican Americans happened. More than 15,000 students from East LA walked out of their classrooms to go against the harsh inequalities Latino students faced in Los Angeles public schools. Mexican-American educator/activist Salvador B. Castro played an important role to the walkouts. He helped the students protest against the unequal conditions in the LA Unified School District. The students demanded that they made courses that related to Mexican-American history and culture, bilingual education, and more counselors, teachers, and administrators of Mexican-American ethnicity. The leaders of the walkout took their demands to the Board of Education on March 11, 1968. Although there was more than 1,400 students present, their pleas were rejected. But since then, much of what they fought for has come to pass. Another factor in the Chicano movement was the Brown Berets. The Brown Berets were known for their direct action against police brutality. They protested the killings and abuses done by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. They supported issues such as the United Farm Workers Movement, educational rights, police brutality, and the Vietnam War. The founder of the Brown Berets was David John Sanchez. The Chicano civil rights movement helped gain equality for all of the Mexican Americans within the United States. Not only did it break down the barriers for Mexican American educational rights, but it broke the barriers for fair pay for the farm workers.